Our follow-up segment tonight as we have been covering the vicious riots in Great Britain because there's a chance that kind of thing could start happening in the USA. Joining us now from Los Angeles, Ann Coulter, who has written a new column on the rioting. She's also the author of the big new bestseller, Demonic. So what's the... Look, with Britain being the USA's closest ally and very, very close to us in a lot of ways, what is it about British society that you believe has led to this terrible, deplorable situation over there?
Well, all of these riots around the globe are the evidence of the theme of my book. The subtitle is How Liberal Mobs Are Endangering America. They're endangering the world. And the three main points of my column and the book are that mobs are always dangerous, destructive things that end society. Number two, liberal policies promote mobs because liberals crawl on the mobs, the destruction wrought by the mobs to attain power. And number three, there's only one way to react to a mob to save civilized society, and that is to smash the mob. It is not to mollycoddle the mob.
Okay, but throughout history, particularly 20th century history, you've seen movements in Italy and in Germany in particular do the mob thing as well on the right to, as you said, seize power. But now you say that the totalitarianism is coming from the left. But these kids... And the arrest sheets from Great Britain show the majority of people arrested were born in the 1990s. There have been more than 1,200 arrested. Majority of them born in the 1990s, so they're young. So what is driving them?
What is striking about these mobs compared to and proving a conservative thesis that it's liberal policies that lead to these savage feral beasts is that so many of these looting kids are white, come from good families, have ancestors in England going back hundreds of years. I mean, you compare that to the LA riots or the riots in the 60s in Detroit and so on. That's allowed liberals to act as if this is a race thing. It isn't a race thing. It's when you pay people not to work.
So you believe
Britain makes it absolutely blindingly clear that it is liberal social welfare policies, and they have turned a good chunk of their native population into animals. They are absolute animals. They are not humans with free will. They eat, they screw, they drink.
Okay, so this is an interesting hypothesis you have, that the younger people in Great Britain, many of them, certainly not all, many of them, are used to getting stuff given to them. You start there? Is that where you start? Okay. So they get stuff given to them, and British society has become increasingly liberal. I used to live there, so I know that. And there aren't a lot of consequences for behavior in Great Britain anymore. You can do a lot of things that you couldn't do there 30 years ago. So they're used to getting things, and they're not used to consequences for bad behavior. So that kind of social message sent from Parliament down to the street of Tottenham and the other places now gives them a sense of entitlement that if they don't like something, they can go out and burn things down and steal stuff. Is that where you're going with this?
That's right. I mean, you've seen other brutish mob behavior from a lot of native Englishmen before now at these soccer games. They're absolute savages and hooligans. And it is a welfare system that doesn't require work, that just pays women to have children. Going back to a theme from my last book that subsidizes illegitimacy. It's an iron law of economics. You tax something, you get less of it. You subsidize it, you get more of it. And you have the highest rate of single motherhood in England of continental Europe.
So you're
and as a consequence, the highest rate of crime.
So you're basically saying, correct me if I'm wrong, that the more the government gives to people, the more they provide to people, the less respect those people have for the government. Shouldn't it be the reverse? Shouldn't they be pleased with the government that they're giving them all of these things?
It really isn't that. They have no respect for themselves. They're having their humanity taken away from them. There are no consequences to their actions. They grow up without fathers. They grow up as animals. Like I say, they drink, they screw, they smash things, they eat when they're hungry, and the government is subsidizing it all. And it's not something this country is immune from. It's just that England is a little more advanced than we are. If you imagine, as I say in the column, this population of British people in 1939, they would all be doing the Heil Hitler salute right now. This isn't the England that we respect and admire.
English society has collapsed, and it's a totally different deal.
Yes, and they have spent... In a way, they're living with the consequences of their own self-abasement for so many years. I mean, if they don't think there's anything in England worth saving, they aren't going to fight back. and you need to smash the mob, and they are not doing that.
But many, many Britons are very appalled by this, as you know. I mean, it's not the whole. It's the younger folks, I think, there's a big problem. Very provocative as always, Ms. Coulter. Thank you.